Liquor Talk, a brand new episode is right here, ladies and gentlemen, and it starts right now. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Liquor Talk podcast. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and also on the podcast networks, the MBG Podcast Network, and also the Pod Match Podcast Network. But ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, she is the host of the Don't Judge Me But podcast, podcasting out of Atlanta, Georgia. She is Simplee Bree. How you doing today, Bree?
I am good. Thank you so much for that intro. I feel the energy.
I'm glad you feel the energy because that's definitely the goal. Whenever I'm recording with somebody, I always want to bring that energy. I definitely want to bring you. And also, thank you for guesting. I know you told me it's been a while since you were on the other side of the mic, so I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. I am excited. I'm ready to get this conversation going. Don't judge me, but hopefully you guys can deal with my answers.
Yes. But let's get into it. Let's tell people about the Don't Judge Me But podcast.
Yes, so the Don't Judge Me But podcast is a show where myself, as well as now two other co-hosts, we recently had one co-host leave and we picked up another. So it's three of us total, and we basically have conversations that other people want to have, but they're afraid of being judged for it. So we talk about relationships, self-growth, self-care, career growth. I mean, you name it, we talk about it. And we're just brutally honest and raw with our answers, and our guests and our audience, they appreciate it. So yeah.
Yes, we definitely appreciate it. We definitely appreciate the podcasts that are definitely raw and honest and unfiltered. And that's honestly a goal for any podcast to be that be unfiltered and unspoken and not care what someone else thinks, because a lot of people out there they're just scared to tell the truth, but you can't be scared to tell the truth.
Right. You have to live in your truth. That's the thing. Like, if you're so focused about or worrying about what other people are going to say, I feel like it affects your ability to be authentic. And you end up, instead of speaking the truth, you're only going to talk about things that you feel people are going to like. And that's not really doing a justice for your audience or even for yourself. So, yeah, real and authentic is the way to go.
Yes, always real and authentic. So what inspired the Don't Judge Me But podcast?
Ooh, so I was looking for a new show that I could find to engage with the audience, where it's not just my opinion as a woman, but also to deliver that balance. And so one of the guests that I had on, which was James Sweat, he and I were, just talking about it. And he said, I think that would be a really good idea. We have to think of something that is different than what's already out there. And so we were brainstorming and we decided, okay, we might need one more person just to kind of throw the balance off. And so that's when we ended up getting with Dame Irv. And so we all collectively sat down virtually, because they're up in Connecticut. We sat down and we talked about what the overall purpose is. And Don't Judge Me was the first thing that came to mind. But of course, it's easy to say don't judge me, but when you add the but, it's like, okay, you're going to say something that I'm probably not going to really be comfortable with, because that but cancels out everything. And so that's how we ended up collectively creating the Don't Judge Me But podcast.
That's definitely amazing, because I always know whenever somebody says "don't judge me," you're giving me room to judge. But 9 times out of 10, it's like I don't even judge, because I'm thinking the same thing in the given moment. So sometimes I'm like, you just saying what I'm thinking. I have to agree with you,
Yeah, you're like, I can't even be mad at you.
Yeah, because sometimes you may come out and say it, but I was thinking it, You may have just beaten me to the punch. Okay, talking about on your latest episode, which is the microwave era, like, why is our generation, yes, I was paying attention, why is our generation the goddamn microwave era? It's like, nobody can be patient for anything.
At all. And it's unfortunate. I feel like this time that we're in, the reason why we're in this microwave era is because we're so used to getting what we want when we want it. And it's not even like it's impossible because we've seen people actually do it. You have influencers overnight. You have people who have gone viral, excuse me, just for something based off of what they said. So it's not far fetched that it can happen, but when you make it almost as if it's the norm, everything is now affected. The relationships are affected, where you're overlooking red flags because you want a relationship right now. And you only want the relationship because society says if you're single, there's something wrong with you. So I need to be in a relationship. You want the career that pays the six figures plus, because if you don't make six figures, then guess what? You're not winning. So I feel like it's just society itself that has painted this facade of what success looks like. And unfortunately, the way that we are with technology today, things are happening at the drop of a dime, where why can't I have it? There's so many things that are able to give it to me. Why can't I have it? I want it, and I want it now.
Yeah, and I understand that, but sometimes we may want something, but really we not might not be ready for it. So sometimes it's like big people need to realize that hey, you may want something right now, but you'll fumble it. And because how people you see in relationships or in society, they get the job, they might get the relationship, but in 2 or 3 months they done fumbled it, or they're just having to move on because you weren't ready for it.
Exactly. Like when you think about when COVID happened, right? You've seen so many relationships fail because they were stuck in the house with one another. Like you're literally living under the same roof with this person that you said I do to, and you're like, I can't stand this one. Like, so you haven't been put through the trials long enough to really know whether or not you truly want to be with this person. And so microwave era relationships, like tonight I actually coined a reference, the ramen noodle relationships, because that's exactly what it is.
Ramen noodle
Okay.
relationship.
Ramen noodle relationships. Like you put it in the microwave and it's like, hey, I love you, even though I've only known you a week. Like it's I don't know. I think these I want to say the things that we want instantly, I feel, is a way to take the focus off of the work that we really need to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want a six-figure job, but have you really put in the effort at work? Have you done the hard work, the labor, the projects, the overnight? Have you done all of that? The relationships. Have you worked on yourself? Have you healed? Are you okay where you are? Are you prepared for that person when they come into your life, that you're able to treat them the way that they should be treated? Like we don't we don't want to do the work in any way that you look at it. And so we're just throwing temper tantrums. I want what I want.
Yeah, what we want, but don't want to put the work in. That's perfectly it is. It's sad. It's sad it is
Mm-hmm.
because people want to look at previous generations. Well, previous generations they shut the fuck up and they put the work in. They didn't bitch about everything on social media. That's what previous
Right.
generations did. And also, and if they did have secrets, they kept it a secret. Everybody knew their role, and they weren't out here being messy.
Yes. Secrets were actually secrets back then. Now they're just a placeholder until I get upset at you or until I feel like being messy. Then I'm going to spill the beans. So, yeah, relationships, everything was so much better back then than what it is now. And I don't know if we're going to get back to that time.
Yeah, I highly doubt it because the way technology is going nowadays, they got everything, and then you got people in relationships demanding off rip, I need to know your location. I'm like, sir, ma'am, you don't know me like that. How you asking for my location when you don't know me like that? No.
No, I want access to your phone. Why can't I see what's in your phone? Listen, I
Hello.
need the code.
Why you need to
Yeah.
go, man? Listen, I see the TikTok of the guy that go around. He be making people swap phones.
Oh,
Man, look at here. There's so much
yes.
mess. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes, because if you say no, you're suspicious. What are you
You're
hiding?
suspicious. What are you hiding? And then on top of that, then you say yes, and then it's like now you're digging through everything, and it's like, wow.
He's like, no, no, no. Go to the deleted. Go to the deleted. Who's John? Who's John? Actually, who's John? It's like he gets a kick out of digging into people's personal lives. And unfortunately, this is microwave success for him because
Yeah,
he is now known for doing this. And people, I just don't get it. I'm sorry. If I was in a relationship and I seen him, I don't even want, I could trust my partner. I don't even want to entertain that because it's going to blow things out of proportion because it has to look good for the camera.
pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, because I bet he does that, and it's just like reality TV. I bet they have a lot of cases where maybe you're telling the truth, or maybe it's nothing. You find nothing, but that's not the one that's gonna make it onto social media, or that's not
No.
going to make it to reality TV like Mario or
Mm-mm.
Cheaters back in the day. You're not
Right.
gonna. That's not the one that's gonna make it. The one that's
Nope.
gonna make it is, oh, who's this? Who's that? Why is this going on?
And then he'll be like, call him right now, call him. So yeah, no, I
And
just
then
couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. I'd be like, sir, me and my lady are in a healthy relationship, and it's like, and I would say this: I better look. I trust my partner, but if my partner
Mm-hmm.
does something, eventually I'm going to find out. Not right
Yes.
then and there, because when y'all women are a lot smarter than we are, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
y'all know how to hide y'all shit. And it's like, but y'all make mistakes. Y'all are human.
Oh,
Y'all do make mistakes, and when the
yes.
time is right, you will slip up.
That's it. What I say? What's done in the dark is gonna come out into the light, regardless, male, female. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. And so, what's your advice to people in this microwave era? Like, how do we just keep going, and do we just have to put our head down, and just keep putting into work? Because I know it
Yeah.
gets tough because we're putting into work, but we see these people out of nowhere. Oh, they're a happy relationship couple, or somebody on social media went viral, and they got all these contracts and all these sponsorships and stuff. Like, what do you say to people to try to be patient in this microwave era?
Listen, put in your time and be appreciative of whatever it is that you get. You might not get that relationship right now. Are you ready for it? Are you truly ready for it? You might not go viral and, become famous overnight. That's okay because what's meant for you is meant for you and it's not going to be stopped by anybody or anything. Take your time, don't rush, and establish your foundation, whether it's a relationship, whether it's business, whether it's anything. Build that foundation. And from there, the world is yours. It's just
Yes.
whenever your time is here. That's it.
Yes, you got to stay patient, continue to put the work in, and also continue to support others that they may
Yeah.
have got their time. Continue to support your friends, be there for your friends if it is their time. Because I've seen people, it feels like they're that jealous friend. They only love you when they're above you, but then when you're doing better than them, they want to be a hater. No, you gotta
Mm-hmm.
continue to support people because you just gotta believe that your time is coming. Because that's what I've been telling myself this whole time. That's why I've been still pushing the podcast, even though I try my hardest not to be one of these red pill people. It's like,
Oh, Lord.
or the people that just go viral for saying dumb shit on the podcast.
Reckless.
Because
Right.
you gotta believe the time is coming.
Yeah, and then keep in mind, whatever you put on the internet is going to stay on the internet. Like people screenshot, people screen record. So imagine, right? Victor, you go viral. because you went on this tangent, this red pill manosphere tangent, and then years later, you establish a contract with iHeartRadio. They want your show on their platform. And now you doing it, you living it up, people know who you are. And then somebody reposts that video of you when you went viral. And now all that you've worked for comes tumbling down simply because you at that time thought that was the way to get the recognition.
Yeah, trust me, that's not something we plan for. And then it's like that's where you got to have a good PR team to be like, listen. And then also, one, have a good PR team, and two, come right out and say it. Like, look, I this is how I felt 4 or 5 years ago. I don't feel that way now. I've been educated. That's not how I feel now. And if you want to terminate my contract, that says more about you than it does me, because every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. So look,
get out of this PR stunt.
Hell yeah. Because I see it happen. There's so many people that go viral and then somebody leaks their old tweets or some dumb shit. I'm like, Twitter was a reckless place back in the day.
A hot dumpster mess.
Yes, it is. People don't understand that. So it's like people always want to try to create somebody's downfall. I'm like, don't you know that's affecting your own come up? You added time, you're delaying your own come up when you try to prey on someone's downfall.
Exactly. So let me ask you this: if this incident popped up where somebody pulled up a video of you going wild and crazy on one of your episodes, and iHeart said, we're going to release you from this we're going to say $500,000 contract unless you apologize. But at that time, in that rant, you believed everything that you said. Like, it was very valid. Would you stand 10 toes down and say, hey, I said what I said and that's how I felt and that was the truth? Or would you go ahead and release an apology statement to the public for your behavior?
I would. Oh, that's good. That's a very good question. What I would do is I would evaluate. Do I feel the same way that I did now? Because it's like I could say a clip came out a few years ago. I'm like, I'd have to have an evaluation with myself and be like, do I feel this way now? If I don't feel this way now, then I will say, look, I apologize. I was reckless back then. But if I still feel this way, then I'm like, no, it's 10 toes down, because I'm looking at iHeartRadio like, look, with or without y'all, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna make something happen with or without y'all. So
yeah. Okay, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, he said, listen, we got to play the clip. How was I feeling? What was happening that day?
Yes, because we know, you never know. You may say something in the heat of the moment, because I know people in relationships, they do this all the time. They say something they don't mean at the right time, and then you can't take it back.
Yeah, no, and that is the most important thing about not speaking while you're emotional. Like, you have to find a way to remove emotions and speak either logically or rationally, but you have to remove those emotions, because if not, you're going to say some wicked stuff, and then you got to go back and apologize, and you got to do damage control because you can't pull the words back. So it's just not worth it.
Yes. And that's why I've always, in previous relationships, I've always been passive. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this get to me, because if I say something, oh, baby, you'll be ready to break up. But looking back at it, if I would have known what I know now, maybe I should have said something. But hey, those still growing pains,
It worked. It worked for you at that time, so you had the formula.
Yes, it definitely worked at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. So go ahead and get that liquor poured up if you haven't done so already. All right, Bree, what is your favorite liquor to drink, or do you even drink?
Oh, man. Okay, so recently I decided to stop drinking. However, my drink of choice is two different ones. The mild one is any type of frozen margarita. And then that
Ooh.
hardcore one that would put hairs on your chest was a Long Island iced tea.
Oh, good choices. Oh, I
Yes,
like this.
yes,
So what
yeah.
made you decide to what made you say I'm gonna stop drinking?
Because and the bad part about it is I'm not even really a drinker. I'm like a social drinker, but it's really if I go out, I'll have like one drink and then that's it. But the reason why I stopped is because I did not like the feeling that it made me, that I felt when I was under the influence. Like, I'm the type of person where I like to be observant of my surroundings. And so I know that alcohol kind of puts a stunt to that, it slows it down a little bit. And I just didn't feel comfortable because I'm the type of person that I go out by myself. I don't roll with a crew. And so I need to be aware of my surroundings when I'm out and about. And then also just thinking of, the number of things that could possibly happen when I'm going home. If I'm still intoxicated, now I can get pulled over. I have a son to worry about. So just trying to play the better hand and just looking at it from a more not only safety perspective but just a more a healthier perspective for myself and my family.
Hey, that's so responsible. That I really appreciate how responsible you are. Cause I'm like you. I go out solo, which is why it's like if I'm out by myself, I only have like one drink, and if
Mm-hmm.
I'm out with people, now if I'm out with people and I don't have to drive, I'll have multiple drinks.
Oh.
If I'm out, but if I'm out with people and I gotta drive, I'm still only having like one drink. Cause like you said,
Right.
there's so many things that can happen where it's like you just don't know. And I remember one time I was in Tallahassee, I was really intoxicated. I drove home and I made it home, but I said to myself, never again. I said if I would do that again, I would definitely make sure that I could get an Uber or something because I can't be out here taking these risks because
Yeah, no.
it's a lot of money to pay for a DUI and then to pay for a lawyer and then that insurance you got to pay for. It's too risky.
Yeah, it adds up. And then, like, not only are you having to worry about yourself driving, but you have to worry about the other drunk drivers that's on the road. Like, so you got to be responsible for yourself and for them. And all it takes is one, like, delayed response or reaction, and that could cost somebody their life or even your life. So it's not worth it. Like, if you want to drink at home. Make sure that you are drinking enough water as well, because don't nobody like the smell of no alcohol pee. And just drink responsibly. That's
Yeah.
really it. If you know that you get angry when you drunk, just don't drink. Leave it alone.
Yes. Yeah. Just everybody drink responsibly. Like you got for every two drinks you have, make sure you get some water in there. Make sure you. That's
Yeah.
why Crown Royal back in the day had them water break commercials. Hey, everybody go take a sip of water. It made sense because you need to.
Yeah, that's how you get hangovers. Like, I didn't know hangovers came from, of course, if you drink drinks that have a high amount of sugar in it, it also dehydrates. Like, if your brain is dehydrated, that's where the hangovers come from. So, why have to sit here and think about all of that when you can just go without drinking?
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. So, like, I admit I've cut back on drinking a lot. Like, one time
Mhm.
I really sip if I'm recording or if I'm just out with friends, but nothing like in my college days where it didn't matter. It was going down.
I could imagine. College days for anybody. Listen, I remember, oh my gosh, and this wasn't even in the college days for me, but when I lived in North Carolina and I stayed next door to a college campus, and those bars would have penny nights where the drink only cost a penny, so you could literally ball out
What?
with a quarter. Yes. Greenville, North
Damn.
Carolina, ECU. Oh my goodness. I remember me and my homegirls would go and I got everybody. How many drinks do you want? Put a quarter on the bar and everybody got like 3 drinks. Like, yeah, those were dangerous.
Oh, damn. I bet those were dangerous and those were probably low quality drinks because ain't no
Oh,
way
bum
to.
juice.
Yeah, it was no top shelf shit. It was I know because I remember there was a bar in Tallahassee called Bullwinkles from like 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. You pay like $10 and you get unlimited drinks.
What?
Yes.
Unlimited? That's even more dangerous. Unlimited.
Yes. And then it was bad when the black. It was always a white spot, but then I could tell when the black folks started finding out about it, it got even more crazy.
Yeah. You know what I don't understand is those type of establishments when they have these specials and stuff and you know people are going to get tipsy and then they got police officers guarding the door as security. I'm like, so you're going to let people drive off like this? Like, it didn't make sense to me. It never made sense to me.
Yeah, that never made sense to me either because I remember I always see the police officers right there at every bar you go to. And then I remember when the fraternities have their little juice parties, the police officers be there at the beginning, but I'm like, when shit goes down, y'all asses done left.
Yep, you're on your own. That's it. They said we ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yes, they said we ain't got nothing to do with that. Now, getting back to podcasting, what is something about podcasting you wish you would have known before you got started?
One thing. You can't bring everybody with you. Like, everybody can't.
Hello.
Like, they can't, unfortunately. You're going to find times where, because it's your dream and it's your passion, other people they may want to jump on board, but if it's not their dream and their passion, they're not going to put forth the same amount of effort. So spare yourself the stress and the troubles and understand that these are some of the things that come along with podcasting that you have to identify at the very beginning. Like, just because they're your friends don't mean that they need to do a podcast with you. And that's okay. They can still support you, but you don't have to do a show with them.
Yes. That's so true because that's why I've been a one-man rec crew for like the last 5 years. I mean, I still have my fellas who come in regularly, but I've been a one-man rec crew because people who were friends, they've shown me that I can't count on them when it's time to do the podcast. Like, if I tell you this time and this day, they're nowhere to be found, or they go and ghost. I'm like, come on now. Or they got 50 million excuses in the book. I'm like, yes. And you know something, when something's your vision, your brainchild, you tend to be an asshole about it, you know?
Yeah, like, this is my baby. Rightfully so, though. Like, this is literally your baby. This is your dream come true. So you should take it like that. For me, I always have an issue when people don't take podcasting seriously. They look at it like it's a hobby. No, it's not a hobby. Like, you put in the same amount of blood, sweat, and tears for yourself as you do when you go to your 9 to 5. So why should you shortchange yourself? Why should you not be consistent with your work schedule? When you're working for yourself, we tend to shortchange our own selves, but somebody else's dream, we're there 5-10 minutes beforehand. Like, it's unfortunate, but when it comes to podcasting, everybody doesn't treat it professionally, you know.
You're right, they don't. And listen,
I had one episode that I did, and it was audio only at the time. And I remember having a guest come on, and he was intoxicated. He was intoxicated to the point where you heard him burping and farting in the background. And then it got to the point where he got up and brought his phone with him and went into the restroom to urinate while we're live. This wasn't even pre-recorded. I had to end that show, and the bad thing about it was I had a dope artist who was also a guest on the show, and we couldn't keep that out there. We had to take it down because we had to do damage control for his image. So, understanding with podcasting, everybody isn't going to take your brand, your craft seriously, and that can be a problem. So you have to protect it like it's your baby.
Yes, I feel you on that because I've had to delete episodes that didn't even see the light of day, like, because sometimes No, I've had people come on the platform and they're trying to take the conversation to places where I wasn't trying to take it to, and people had to tell this person, "Hey, sir, you need to calm down." And also, bad enough that this gentleman was talking mad shit about somebody, and the person wasn't even there. I'm like, how the fuck you sitting here talking
Oh
about this
boy.
person, and the person can't even come on and defend themselves?
Defend
So
themselves, yeah.
and it's like that was a fucking headache on me because now I gotta cancel this episode, and now I gotta see can I bring back everybody back on to see. And guess of course nobody showed up the second time.
Yeah, because it's like they've already been traumatized. And see, that's the bad part, because it affects your brand. It affects your image. It affects the relationship that you have with those other people who were guests up there. Now, it's going to tarnish, or it's going to make them think twice before they come back onto your platform. And you can have the best platform hands down. All it takes is one experience. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. All it takes is that
Mm-hmm.
one experience, and it's like, luckily for those people, that I'm still cool with them and we're good and all. But I know it takes one experience to be like, hey, I don't want to do this platform again. And also from this perspective as well, like let's say I've had somebody on as guest. I know you've done this as well. You probably had guests that you're like, in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, this is the last time I'm bringing them on.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Definitely have had that. And it is, I call those free for alls. And the reason I call it free for alls is because at this point, I know you're never coming back on my platform. I'm about to let my co-host just go in on you. Like, whatever they want to say, free for all. Because chances are, like you said, this episode will never see the day of light, ever, or the light of day. So yeah, we about to be real ratchet, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of swearing and insults, because I feel like for someone to come onto your platform and show their butt, that's disrespectful. You're disrespecting my platform. You're disrespecting me and my co-host. You're disrespecting my audience. So let's stoop down to your level and speak the language that you understand. And you know, I think every podcaster, every host has that time where they're like, I just want to cuss her in my effer out. I just want to cut. It's just built up. So you have
Yes,
those
I do.
moments. Mm-hmm.
We all do. We all do. And that's why a lot of people, that's why there'll be some people reach out to me like, hey, I want to come back home. I'm like, I'll make some bullshit and not even hurt their feelings. I'm like, hey, I'm already booked up.
Booked up for the rest of the
Because
year.
I'm already booked up, because it's like you crossed the boundary, and you know what? And I was feeling some type of way, and I was like, and I had to drop 2 episodes that week because I didn't like that episode we did together. So I had to drop 2. I had to double up on episodes because of your dumb ass.
Right, exactly. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been a guest on somebody's platform and you said to yourself, what the hell was I thinking? I will never come back to this.
I it was a few years ago. I was on somebody's platform. The person was organizing stuff, but their technology kept breaking down. And it's like, hey, they hit me up the next day. They were like, the episode didn't record. Can you please come back on? I'm like, I ain't doing nothing. I'll go ahead and do it. And then
Yeah.
needless to say, that episode never came out. Never came out. But then I was going to have that person on my podcast. They're the show. I don't hear from them. So I'm like, wow,
What?
yes,
Wow. People are interesting, I'm never surprised. It's just like people are gonna
yeah.
people at the end of the day. So
People are going to talk a big game, but then when it's time for them to show up, they go ghost. I'm like, and I've had people I've networked with and within the city, and I'm like, I've told them, hey, I do a podcast. They're like, oh, you need to have me on. You need to have me on. But time comes, where you at? Or they got some kind of
ghost.
excuse of, oh, I'm tired. Man, if you don't shut the fuck up and go get a damn Red Bull. Because I've had
That's
to do this
it.
podcast tired a number of times where I was tired from work. I'm like, how the hell am I going to get this interview? I told myself, shut up, pulled over, got me an energy drink, and I was ready to go.
Make it happen. That's it. And that's what comes with podcasting. People see the end result, and because you've been doing it for so long and you've perfected the skill, they think, oh well, anybody can do that. I can do a podcast. How many times have you had people who have seen your podcast and then they're like, I can do that. You make it look so easy. I can do that, and you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. I've known a number of people that have been like, "Hey, I'm gonna start my podcast," and then they'll message me like, "Hey, I'm waiting for you to help me." I'm like, "This is your podcast. What the hell you waiting on me for? You're the one that said, 'Hey, I want to start a podcast.' What you should have been like, 'Hey, when are you available?' That's how you approach somebody, not some,
Yeah.
'Oh, I'm waiting on you to get started.' No, then you're gonna be waiting forever. Then shit."
Listen, cause I ain't got the time for you. Nope. Especially if you can just tell that it's not something that they really want to do. They're just doing it because that's the thing that everybody's doing.
Yeah, definitely. And it is crazy out here. But ladies and gentlemen, if you truly want to start a podcast and you want to start a work, put the damn work in. If you know you're going to put the work in, it ain't just getting on the mic. It's a whole bunch of things that I don't think
Yeah.
people realize. It's a whole bunch of things that go into it. It ain't just getting on the mic and talking your shit, but it's a whole lot more than that.
Oh yeah, it costs money too. A surprise! Just in case you didn't know, you gonna
Yes.
put in some money for some equipment. Like if you not serious about it, the quality of the equipment, then I mean you're gonna be putting out trash. And
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, at the beginning I started podcasting on my cell phone, and I quickly realized, oh, I need to invest in an actual like setup. So that comes with research. You can't just jump on and say I'm gonna be a podcaster. You have to do the research too.
Yes, you definitely got to do the research. Because I remember there were a few episodes where I was literally doing it from a cell phone too. So I was
Mm-hmm.
right there with you, doing it from the
Yep.
cell phone. But then I realized, let me get a computer and let me get some equipment and stuff, and then let me use
Mm-hmm.
these platforms that we got paid money for. It's gonna cost you, but you know
Mm-hmm.
that if it's worth it, it's gonna come out in the end. So that's why I'm like, I'm putting in the work and not counting on this being a microwave generation, unlike some people.
There we go. There we go. It ain't gonna happen overnight. You got to build that foundation.
Yes, you got to build that foundation. You got to keep making connections. And you also got to be open to suggestions from people as well, too. Because sometimes maybe people trying to help. But a lot of times
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I got this. I'm like, okay, you got it.
Right. That you gotta let people fall sometimes. Like that's what I say. You can't take everybody with you. The amount of energy that you spend trying to save other people who don't want to be saved, you could be investing that into something that you love doing, whether it's podcasting, whether it's having your own TV show, whether it's writing, art, whatever. You there's gonna come a time where you're gonna have to realize that some people have to learn how to swim on their own.
Mm-hmm. And that's what thing is, whether it's podcasting, relationships, because I see a lot of women and men trying to be with a bum. Like, man, sir, ma'am, sir, you're with a bum. Why are you with this bum? And what's bad is they will tolerate so much crap from the bum, then they get somebody good, and then they
Mm-hmm.
putting them through all the hell. Why do you think people do
Yeah.
that shit?
I think because it's a sense of codependency to know that this person is not capable of taking care of themselves, so they need me, they need to rely on me. I think it's an ego stroke for said person. Whereas if you get with someone who is on your level or above you, they're going to have certain expectations of you as an individual. And you might not want to meet those expectations or meet those standards or put in the time and the effort or do the work on yourself because you rather just be the mama bear versus the student. I think that if I had to take a guess, I would think that's why. Like people are just lazy. They don't want to do the work. So it's easier to control someone than actually sit there and learn and work on yourself.
Yeah, it's like, and to those people, I have no sympathy for them because if you with a bum and this bum shows you who they really are, I'm like, I'm like, you knew this kind of person is. You knew that this man or this woman didn't have, like, say this person, they might want to use your car to drive around while you at work, and then you get mad with them because they're not on time to pick you up. I'm like, what were you expecting? Seriously, what were you
Right. The
really
bum was
expecting?
bumming. Right. It doesn't make sense. Like, I feel in those type of situations, the level of just being naive and in what's the word they call it? Denial. Being in denial, it makes you not have to confront or acknowledge what's really happening before your eyes. So you can
Yeah,
play dumb and say, "Oh, I didn't know," because if you knew better, you do better. So,
always.
yeah,
Or
I don't
also,
I don't feel mercy.
I don't feel mercy either, because also people might use a cop out, be like, oh, they'll use their strength. Like, say this person is really good in bed. I'm like, I don't give a damn how good you are in the bedroom. I don't care if you a damn porn star in the bedroom. You're not about to be sitting here bumming around using me while I'm out here getting and I'm out here grinding. But people, they
Yeah, no.
just, I don't know with people.
I don't know what people either. It's weird. Weird times that we're in. I think it's more so whatever it takes to pacify their accountability and pacify whatever it is that they lack. Because when you think about it, right? If you get with someone who needs you, they're not gonna have time to point out your flaws. They're not gonna have time to set expectations for you because who are they? Like, you need me. I don't need you. So how can someone who needs you also have expectations of you as a person? It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. But and to the people that would rather be with somebody that needs them, I'm like, more power to you, because I want somebody that's gonna make me better. Like, make me better. Like,
Yeah.
iron sharpens iron. Like, hold me accountable, help me get back. Because if you're holding me accountable, that tells me you care about me and you see something in me and
Yeah.
you see greatness in me. When you're not holding me accountable and you just let me do whatever, that tells me one, two things: you done checked out in a relationship, or there's somebody else you're entertaining.
Right. Or you're just here for materials or just to get whatever it is that you need so you can
Mm-hmm.
get yourself on your feet and then you're gone.
Yes, and then once you get on your feet, you're gone. It's us. That's why
Mm-hmm.
people can't be out here, can't be Captain Save Hoes nowadays. You can't be out here
No.
saving people. You gotta let people suffer.
Right. Because at the end of the day, right, do they really need saving? What if they don't? Imagine we'll use a guy and a female. Imagine how many women this guy can be running this game on to make them think that he's incapable or he needs help and he needs a place to stay. That's like the people that you see panhandling on at the end of the highway exits and stuff. You do that so much that you literally that's a full-time job and you're really living better than people who are giving you money. Like,
Damn.
it's a hustle. It's a hustle.
Yes, it's a hustle, but people will do that and they will still fall for that person, but then they won't play victim when it blows up in their face. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am, sir, you knew this person was this when you got with them. You just don't want
Right.
somebody better, or you'll use the cop out as, oh, they're boring, or they don't do this. I mean, give me the
Mm-hmm.
boring person. We'll have some fun together. Shit, we don't need to be
Let's create some fun.
we don't need to be doing toxic fun or running from the popo kind of fun. I don't know these people, this generation.
That's a different type of fun. Yeah, no. The morals have gone down the drain, and I think at the end of the day, what people are looking at is the end result. They want the end result right now. Back to the microwave era. They want the end result right now because this is something that I can prove to everybody else. If I have a man, I don't care if he a bum, I got a man, so I'm not single. And if I'm not single, then that means that I'm not lonely, I'm not miserable, I'm lovable. It's a whole bunch of things that tie to the image of having someone, regardless of whether or not you're happy. Happiness doesn't matter at this point in the society that we live in.
That's a sad. We in a sad society, and they wonder why
Hmm.
people out here are taking their lives, or they've just mentally checked out on life. It's a sad reality we're living in. Just to say
Yeah.
you have somebody, because people would rather have a piece of someone than to have someone for themselves, and it's like, and then that makes me wonder: do you really love yourself? Do you love yourself in the mirror to be like, oh, because if you really love yourself, you're not selling to be have a piece of somebody. You want the whole thing.
Right, exactly. You should feel like you deserve the whole thing. And that's why you see a lot of people nowadays are single because they've done the work. And so, because I've done the work, I'm not going to tolerate or stand for just a piece of man. I'm not going to stand for someone who doesn't or hasn't done the work. They don't deserve what I know I'm capable of delivering. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's the society that we're in right now. So either you're single because you choose to be single, or you're in a relationship because you choose that you don't want to come off looking lonely, basically. Because that's what
Yeah.
people, for some reason, correlate singleness and loneliness together. Like, oh, we're all just lonely. And it's like, no, it's a party over here.
It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have our weak moments, yes, but you like you said,
Hmm.
it's a party over here. Shit, it's like
Yeah.
I got freedom, I got free reign. Now you got somebody blowing up my phone, being like, "Where you at?" or something like that. No, it's
Hmm.
us. I got time to do whatever I want to do, and it's like, yeah, it does get disappointing when the couple friends they be having their little events and stuff. Yeah, it'd be nice, but
Hmm.
I'll still take. But I know they go home to their issues as well. There's issues that they're
Right.
not even talking about, so and to all you happy
Hmm.
couples out there, I hope y'all keep being happy and keep putting into work, because
Yes.
it ain't really worth it out here. I'm telling you, the grass ain't greener on the other side. So if you got somebody
Yeah.
that's holding you down, you need to hold that person down too.
Yeah. 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 And go all in. Like, don't be afraid to love that person wholeheartedly. And don't be afraid to be loved wholeheartedly. Like, just as it's great, on the single side, it's also great when you're in a relationship because you have someone that can hold you accountable. You have someone that wants you to grow, and they appreciate both you as a partner as well as you as an individual. So there's perks to everything. There's perks to all situations. You just have to identify with which one it is that you fall into place with, and just go from there and tune the world out. Please tune the world out.
Yes, please tune the world out, because it's like you gotta a lot. We got a lot of followers in this generation. We don't have enough leaders in this
Hmm.
generation. We gotta
Yeah.
go by the beat of our own drum. Man, I'm at a point where I'm just like, man, I don't care what nobody says. I'm gonna do me, and it's just it is what it is, because society want to tell you this, want to tell you that. I'm just like, man, who are the people making the rules even happy? I don't even know.
Right. Probably not. Probably not. They're just, I think at this point, they're just throwing spaghetti strands at the fridge to see what sticks. Like, oh, okay, they're going with this one. All right, we good.
Meanwhile, they're probably doing that because they have some kind of distraction or something else they got brewing to where it's
Uh
gonna really
huh.
fuck some shit up.
Right. Meanwhile, in a lab somewhere, they got your DNA and they're merging you together with a goat to see how does this come out. So,
Uh
yeah,
huh.
but no, I mean, just focus, just be focused. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, you got to be focused.
Yes, it's definitely got to be focused. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is
Hmm.
Liquor Talk. Please go subscribe on all platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And remember, this podcast sounds a whole lot better when you have a drink in your hand, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Talk to me about being vulnerable with people. And it's like, people nowadays, they're scared to be vulnerable because sometimes we've been getting burned by being vulnerable with the wrong people. So, how do you know if somebody's okay to be vulnerable with them?
Mm, I mean, it's gonna take time. You're gonna have to look at their actions, because just because someone verbally tells you or verbally expresses themselves, yeah, that's good and everything. That's a start, but it's the actions that show. Are they having those deep felt conversations with you? Are they, letting you into different spots in their life where it's not they're typical? Are they bringing you around friends and family to show that they really do trust you? So I think in order for you to know whether or not this person is worthy of you being vulnerable, you just have to pay attention to the signs and trust yourself. Like, really, really trust yourself. You have to know yourself. But once you are aware of who you are and what vulnerability looks like for you, then I think you'll be able to spot whether or not this person is, someone that you can open up and let your guards down with.
Yes, that's true. You definitely got to pay attention to a person's actions, and you don't have to sit there and do these little tests on them and stuff with hypothetical scenarios or say
Mm-hmm.
something intentionally just to get a rise out of them. Life will tell you whether or not they're worthy of being vulnerable or not. Because and
Mm-hmm.
also if you were vulnerable with the wrong people, get over it. You're still standing, ain't you? Like it didn't
Yeah.
kill you, so it just made you stronger. So don't punish.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing people got to do is quit punishing others for the past. Don't punish somebody new for what someone else did.
Right. Yeah, that's important because it shows growth, right? If you are sitting here and you're holding something from your past against me and I haven't done anything, that shows me that you have not healed. You have not done the self work. So you really shouldn't be dating. So if
Thank you.
anybody is mindful of that, they should, hey, I enjoy getting to know you. I think you're a cool person and everything, but I think that there's some unhealed trauma or just things that you've gone through that need to be resolved before I'm able to actually move forward and date you. But I wish you the best and
You
keep
know,
it moving.
yes. If I would have, and I'm beating myself up because I sometimes I try not to beat myself up, but if I would have just said that to somebody last year, I wouldn't have gotten ghosted. But it is what it is. So,
You live and you
because
learn.
you live, you learn, and you lived. You don't deal with somebody that's fresh off of getting out of a divorce, who was married to a bum, and they
No.
spend the time tell me stories about how this person was a bum and how their dad didn't like this person, and it's like I understand you being vulnerable, you being honest, but you don't need to be telling some details need to stay to yourself.
Yeah, and because that's a lot to unload onto someone, and then you're unloading it with the intentions of what? Like, what are you expecting to get out of a conversation like that, other than, "Mm, I don't know if this person is really ready, doubt, you're gonna get judgment, you're gonna get a lot of different things. So, I think dumping your past onto your present can really have a negative effect, and that person doesn't deserve it.
Yes, nobody deserves to hear that. That's why you need to get a therapist before you get into a relationship. But there's a lot of people that instead they're ready to just be vulnerable with new people instead of going to a therapist and going to talk to somebody, and because that's what they're there for,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, they're licensed professionals. I have a therapist, and my therapist is a Black man. And I love being able to have conversations about whatever I might be thinking or feeling, because then I don't have to load that on to anybody else. This is what he is hired for. So I think therapy definitely is a really strong resource that people can use in hopes of getting through whatever trauma they may have experienced or whatever heartbreak they may have experienced, so that they can go into a new relationship with a fresh start.
Yes, you definitely need to because I get it. It's not easy to be vulnerable with people, but you can't you can't punish people for your past transgressions because some people, you might get those people like, why didn't you spot them red flags? Like, why did it get to this point? So it's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, emotionally dumping onto someone whatever you've gone through, that's not what they're there for. They're not your punching bag. They're not your release pond. That's part of the work that you should be doing before you move into dating. That's that
Yeah.
self work that we were talking about earlier.
Yes, yes, people, y'all need to do the self work. And now, last thing, now, why is it that some women
Mhm.
get mad with men for establishing boundaries? They're like, "Oh, he's sassy. You just sassy." Any man that does this, ma'am, the fuck you want us to do? You want a man you just walk all over? Because if you have a man that you could just walk all over, you're gonna be like, "Oh, he's boring," and then you'll be cheating on him, and then you'll be back to square one when he kicks you to the curb.
Mhm. Why does a woman not like a man who sets boundaries? I think because it's abnormal in society. What we see is the man is supposed to protect and provide. It doesn't say anything about protect his own peace, or provide for his own sanity. So for a man to say, no, I don't like that and I won't go for that, or to hold a woman accountable, yeah, you're probably going to get a negative reaction if she is not emotionally intelligent and she's incapable of understanding why he has set boundaries. Because I feel like if a man has boundaries, then it's either something has happened or he's trying to prevent something from happening. So who am I to say you can't have boundaries or standards? You should have standards. Because if you're a free for all, then that's alarming. And I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, I would definitely be concerned if you're a free fall, you're just down with whatever just
Yeah.
because you want to have a woman around. No, because you are going to wake up, you're going to get tired, and that woman is going to walk all over you and use you and stuff, use and abuse you. It's just, and sometimes you get tired of seeing people with good hearts get taken advantage of or taken for granted. So I think men, women, men, everybody need to have standards. Like, and it's not the end of the
Right.
world. And if you're a woman, get mad with a you don't want to sit here and get mad when a man enforces his standards and his boundaries, then, ma'am, I'm gonna suggest you take a hard look in the mirror at yourself because that says more about you than does that man.
Yeah. I think with boundaries, it's very tricky because people set boundaries, but then they don't respect the boundaries themselves that they set for themselves. Like, for example, let's say a guy says he doesn't want to have sex on the first night, and he wants to take his time and get to know the woman. But then when you get a little alcohol in your system, you're ready to take her then and there. You're not respecting your own boundaries. So now it makes someone question, are you true to those boundaries? Is this something that you really mean, or are you just saying it to see what kind of reaction you're going to get? So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like man, woman, whomever, if you set boundaries, you need to stick to those boundaries and make sure that you're holding true to them, despite whatever the situation is. Um, One thing that I found myself having a conversation with this guy on TikTok one day, he was saying how women are gold diggers. They only want men for their money. They gotta have six figures. This, that, blah, blah, blah. We all know that saying. And so, in the same token, he was saying how, um, if a woman is a stripper, he doesn't care. What her job is. He would still be in a relationship with her. And so somehow in the conversation, I was asking him, what is his idea of providing? And he was like, oh, I'd pay all the bills and regardless of whatever her situation is. So if she don't have a job, I'm going to take care of her anyway. She doesn't need to have a job. And then he explained to me the type of women that he were going for was where he had to be super save a hoe. So for me, I feel like you can't sit here and try to label women as gold diggers when you are willingly wanting to provide for them. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you can shed light as a man if that makes sense to you, but if a man is willing and wanting to provide, and the women that he is selecting are those who are showing they're incapable of taking care of themselves, how is it that women could be labeled a gold digger?
I feel like he just doesn't. I feel like this man, he's probably used to women using him and he's just embraced it. And it just really doesn't sound like he is just it sounds like he doesn't really love himself and he doesn't really have standards or boundaries set for
Mm-hmm.
himself. And he's just okay with it because I guess maybe he's not looking for that woman to be his everything or to do things in return. So I can't really speak for that
Yeah.
kind of man because it's like, no,
I was
sir.
confused.
That confused me too, like, sir, and you sound like a hypocrite. Like, how on one hand you're saying women are gold diggers, but yet you're the main one with your hand out here, like, hey, come on, ladies, I got you. I'm Captain Saberho.
I got it. Yeah, that never made sense to me, and thankfully, I just stopped trying to understand it because, and this is something that I will advise to those who are watching and listening, and you find yourself in a conversation with someone who feels strongly about women being gold diggers or men being cheap and you don't want to provide. If you know that's not applicable to you, why would you say something?
Hello.
Why? Like, if I know I'm not a gold digger, why would I have to feel like I need to defend the gold diggers of the world? It has nothing to do with me.
It doesn't because people want to just chime in with their 2 cents for no reason. Like, because I know deep down if it's the right person, yeah, I'm going to step up and do for them because now as I said, this person is looking out for me as well. So they look out for me,
Yeah.
I look out for them. It's like, and that's how I feel about it. But unfortunately, you got people out here who they just want to add their 2 cents. That's why some conversations when people talk about going on $200 dates and $300 dates, I just shut the fuck up because look, you got me.
Because I don't do that type of
I
shit.
don't do that shit unless it's an anniversary or something. And plus, have you seen the prices around here in this economy right now? No.
Mm-mm.
And even if
Listen,
I could
no.
afford to do it, I'm still not gonna do it because the rich people, the people with all the money, they're not out here flaunting their money. They're not out here just throwing it around like that. They're out here investing it and making business moves for their next generation. They're not out here going on $200 and $300 dates. So when those topics came up, I
No.
was just like, y'all gonna hate me because guess what? We ain't going. And I will respect a woman
Right.
who'll tell me, baby, no, we don't need to go here except for the woman. But
We got
compared to the
bills.
women that were like, "Hey, let's go, let's do it."
No, like, I'm sorry. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. You're not about to take me out on no $200 date. And I don't even know if I'm gonna like you next week. Oh no, that's money down the drain. Like, no, I'm all set. I honestly feel even when you're getting to know someone, first dates should not be out to eat. You should not be spending money on the first date. Not when you're getting to know someone. It should not cost for someone to sit down and have a conversation with you face to face.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. What are we doing here? You ain't
Yes.
got no bills?
Yes, that is definitely ridiculous. But so tell me this: why should people tap in and tune in to the Don't Judge Me But podcast?
I feel you guys should tap in, tune in, check us out, the Don't Judge Me But podcast. If you are looking for some people to have fun with, we are a fun group of hosts. We tell it like it is. We have fun. I said that already. That's how much fun we say we have. We really enjoy ourselves and we say the things that you are thinking, the things that you want to say, but you're like, nah, because I don't want them to think that I'm judgmental. We say it. And we say it with our chest out. So, like, why not? You're going to come, you're going to learn. You're going to learn something, if not about yourself, or if not from us, you're going to learn from our audience because our audience is very interactive in the chat. You're going to come in, you're going to feel like family. They're going to greet you, and you'll enjoy the vibes. Like, our energy is on 100, and it's something that you can easily get addicted to. So, I just say, just come for one episode, and if you don't like it, it's not for you. Guess what? Then that's just it. No hard feelings.
Well said. I think I feel that same way about Liquor Talk, but hey, you said it best. Bree, I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Liquor Talk. Whenever you want to have me on Don't Judge Me But podcast, just let me know. I might be in Florida, but I'm a DM away. And I will be in Atlanta later this year, like months from now.
All
So
right.
So, but
Definitely.
in the
Look,
meantime, if you need me, just let me know.
yes, I would love to invite you to next week's episode if you're available because we're actually talking about boundaries. Like, no meaning no.
Hey, just give me a time, just send me a link, and I'll be there.
I got you. I got you. Yes, we're going to do it. Definitely. Thank you again for having me on, Vic. I appreciate it. I have fun. I love the conversations. And I absolutely, even without my liquor, I love the liquor talk with you.
Yes. Thank you, Bree, for joining me, and thank you out there, everybody that's listening and pouring up with us. Thank you for pouring up with us. Continue to pour up because we are taking over for the 25 and the 26. This has been the Liquor Talk podcast. Until the next episode, keep pouring up, and because remember, everything in life is temporary. So keep pouring up and keep pushing. We out this thing, y'all. Peace.